Ken's on call, and I'm not going to make any passive-aggressive statements about the remnant remaining, but we can go sit in my car and just tell y'all what I was going to talk about. Okay, see, I know y'all hate when I do that. And hey, Charles, I didn't say good morning to you. I guess you're back there. Welcome, those of you who are logging on. Welcome to, where are we? Metron. Congratulations to Eddie and Ava, who had their nuptials in New York.
We're not shacking up no more.
We've been praying. I've had the intercessors praying about it for a long time. No, it's really cool how that worked out. I'm glad you'll have a story too. We had a story with ours, and that's the story that goes with it is as important as the ceremony itself. You know, when a thing works out. With us, I know y'all are standing, but I'm sure I probably told you this, but when we got married, you had to have 48 hours. So we took the train up, and the train only goes once a day, and it gets in at 2 o'clock, and the city hall closed at like 4. So I remember telling Ken, I said, look, we got to run it. You know, these trains usually run on time, but man, we cannot waste any time, because if we don't get down there and get this license, and people like Ernie and Avery were coming up, and you know, we wanted to do it on New Year's Eve, and I mean, this is like, there's a lot of moving parts to this. Well, it was late, and he said, you think we can make it? I said, we have to. So I got a cab driver. I said, dude, whatever you can do, get me to the church on time. And he did. I mean, it scared the bejesus out of us, but we made it. But anyway. Well, prophesy that. Y'all coming in. If y'all go, somebody go out in the highways and byways and compel them to come in. All right. We made it to October. And we're here, and we're blessed, and we're alive, and we're together, and we're okay, and we're safe, and we're blessed, and we have a purpose, and we're surrounded by light and by energy. The Spirit of God hovers over us. God is in this place. God is real. No matter how many times your definitions of God change, it only brings you into more and more God reality. We're not becoming less about God, we're actually becoming more about God, because we've taken the parameters off of our ideas of God. God is real. The Spirit of God is real. The Holy Spirit is real. We are filled with the Spirit. We are walking in the Spirit. The Spirit of God is here as it was in the upper room. We are in one mind and in one accord. I call us all into agreement. Where 2 or more are gathered together, something else happens. That manifestation of the Christ. We are aware of it today. We are conscious of it today. We thank you for it. Let's remain standing. Do the Lord's Prayer, please. Our Father who art in heaven, presence of divine love and light that lives within us and within all of life, hallowed be thy name. We invoke the powerful creative nature of all that is sacred and holy. Thy kingdom come. We embrace the healing essence that is the kingdom of heaven within us. Thy will be done. We accept our greatest good as we align with our divine nature. On earth as it is in heaven, knowing that the affairs of our lives reflect our evolving consciousness. Give us this day our daily bread. Each day we receive great blessings from within and throughout all the activities of our lives. And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. We accept the divine nature of all things and all people, including ourselves, as we move away from judgment and toward greater awareness of divine presence. and lead us not into temptation. We shall be vigilant in expressing and experiencing the oneness with all life. But deliver us from evil as we are learning to live without fault-finding and suffering. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. For we accept the consciousness of divine perfection with all its power and glory right here, right now, and forever. Amen. And so it is. Tell the person next to you or close to you, I'm so glad to be sitting next to you. And then you may be seated. Come in, come in, come in. Welcome. Did you have a good birthday? Tricia had a birthday this week, so happy October birthdays. Our outreach this month is the American Cancer Society, and I may say a little something about that later. I think we've given to them before, but we're giving again. And most importantly, next week we will not be here. So if you're not coming to Blue Ridge, don't come here unless you just want to sit out there. But we're going to be in Blue Ridge, and I went up there yesterday and picked out a beautiful spot. It's really going to be. I think it's going to be the best. The way it's angled and faces west over Lake Blue Ridge, I think it's going to be the best sunset pics we've ever had. So that's going to be really good. Yeah, I wasn't. Next weekend is meditation weekend number 27. If you have not planned to go, it's not too late to make a plan. I wasn't even planning on going up there yesterday, but I'd already taken care of all like caretaking stuff, and I was driving downtown, and I thought, I don't really have anything else to do today. I wanted to get. I'm wearing this jacket. It's too warm for this jacket, but I just got it, and so I'm not ready to take it off yet because I really like it. And but I don't know if you order anything from Amazon, it's really cool because it's like the next day it comes to this Amazon store and you have a little code on your phone, and it's really, really cool. Well, I was planning on getting that yesterday, and I thought, if I was driving, I thought if I go right now, I could get up there, find a place, get back in time to get my jacket, back in time to get her dinner. And so I just did it, and it's a real easy drive. The leaves are starting to change. By next weekend, they'll be really beautiful. It's already, it's interesting, like just every little bit further north you go, you start seeing, the color starts turning up. So we're going to hit it just right next weekend. And I haven't even looked at any predictions about weather. I'm totally fine with whatever happens. Where we're going to be, we'll be fine either way because there are pavilions that are there. I haven't heard anything about rain, but I've learned from experience. Sometimes it happens. And it's fortuitous. Our last one, the rain ended up being a blessing. It's going to be a real easy trip. It's going to be good. I'm glad I was planning on stopping these at 25. So these are bonuses. So we're up to number 27 now. If you're interested in going, go to the cover photo on my Facebook page, and all the information is there. You can see how to click on the group page. Y'all all know that, but invariably there'll be somebody who's never been before that wants to know, how does it work? And we don't know how it works. It's amazing, but it's worked 26 times, famously. 26. It's a lot. Time was just flying by. When I went to Decatur High School football game the other night, I was looking at all these kids, and I thought, when I went to school here, their parents weren't born yet. Wow. Is that true? I mean, there might have been some, but for the most part, I'm doing the math, and I'm like, no, most of their parents were not born when I was here. And like my friend that's the band teacher, he was taking me around. He took me and introduced me to the principal and the leader. He's the leader of the band, but they have an orchestra now. I went and met her. And everybody that said, like, when were you here? 50 years ago. And it's like I had time traveled. It's like I was Benjamin Franklin or Moses on the Mount of Transfiguration. It's like, they're like, really? From that long ago? It wasn't that long ago. But I guess it was. Anyway, you better carpe those diems because they're flying by. I can't believe we already planned Thanksgiving because what are their names? Why did I name them J names? Jared, he's going to his mom's on Thanksgiving, and Jonah's going with his in-laws somewhere. So they said, is there a way we can do it Sunday before? And I said, is it time? Didn't we just do Thanksgiving? It's time to plan this already? So we got all that worked out, and I feel like we just did that. I called Debbie. I said, look, I'm not assuming you want to join again. You might have already made plans. It's fine with me if you don't. It's just, I think it does make it easier on the boys if we can just, it's one less thing they have to go to. She said, yeah, that's fine with me. I said, Jared says he's going to do the turkey. He's good with that. I don't want to assume that he's going to do it. Come on in, Carl. The first year that he volunteered the turkey, I thought, oh, Lord, I hope he knows what he's doing. But he did. He's done 2 of them, and it wasn't a fluke. It was really, really good. So I called him. I said, look, before I call Debbie, we can do it at my house. But do you have a preference where you'd like to do it? He said, actually, I like the oven at Debbie's house better. I said, fine with me. So we got that worked out. And so when I called her, I said, I can't believe we're having this conversation because I swear we just did Thanksgiving. But I guess it's time to plan it again. So there's that. And I think that's everything. All right. Are the rest of the people coming in yet? Or I don't know. BJ, you're pretty creative with these shots, but you're going to have to use some AI today. What's happening? Am I just running people off? Well, y'all tell me the truth. Am I just getting worse?
No. They had a packed house last week.
No, I'm clearly winnowing the crowd down. So y'all tell me the truth. Is it just me? Y'all just want me to shut the hell up? Is that what it is?
We living in a time of lukewarm Christians. Is what we live. They don't put God before everything no more. They lay up in that bed on a rainy Sunday morning and just.
Oh, see, now he's married. Now he's going to be all holy because he's married.
Half and half Christian.
I guess. I mean, just if it's time for me to exit the stage, somebody tell me.
No.
Is it just like, good God, is he ever going to shut up? We'll drive out there one more time. Because I have like 2 people left now. So it's what? Is it me?
Jim,
What?
seriously,
It is me.
you've got the biggest stage now than you've ever had in your life.
That's true.
The biggest stage now you've ever had.
You gotta show him like he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
I do? Y'all will tell me, though, if it's just time for me to, like,
People texted me and said we overslept, so, you know, that's.
okay.
Where would you go anyway? Right.
I don't know. There might be somebody that wants to hear me. I don't know. There might
We
be.
want to hear you. Right.
Oh, I know y'all do. I shouldn't be busting y'all's chops. Y'all are here. Okay. Shake it off. He winnowed them down. Yeah.
Into the ones that had to go out into.
Okay. Ed just texted me and said, "Don't you dare exit the stage. Mind your own business in Knoxville. You're not the boss of me." What?
That stage reaches all the way in this moment to Knoxville, Tennessee. You couldn't do that 20 years ago. You had to
Come
wait for
on,
that
Jesus.
parking lot to fill up.
Come on.
Yeah, but Jesus took his disciples on a cruise. I'm just saying.
Go, Charles.
Listen, once I'm free, I'd be all about that. I would happily take us on a cruise. Just can't do it right now. I can't imagine. I remember before Howie's mother passed, he was telling her he was going on a transatlantic cruise. I said, Howie, I can't imagine forming the words transatlantic. Like there's no way. I could never sell that idea. But one day I will. One of these days, I shall be released. All right. So y'all want to hear what I got to say today?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Sweet.
I drove all the way from Louis Grove, Georgia, just to hear you.
Yeah. BJ and Joe have a, what is, it's not a, is it called a camper or what? It's a trailer.
Good stuff.
So they're learning how to do all that. So they did it this weekend. Because you're gonna do it next weekend. Did you find a place
No, actually,
in Blue Ridge? Oh, you're not?
no, because I'd already booked someplace before, but it sounds like from what everyone's saying, it would have been perfect for there. But
Anyway, he came from the campsite this morning. And I said, how's it going? He was telling me about it. I said, you know, it's not my cup of tea, but you can find out what you're made of, because he's found that he can do all kind of stuff he didn't know he could do, which is kind of, I'm actually going to kind of talk about today. So let's, instead of doing no, let's do this. I'm going to teach you and I'll do a meditation at the end. And that will be the start of meditation week. How about that? All right. Welcome to the Metron Live podcast, coming to you from the packed out Atlanta Theater in Kirkwood. Wish y'all could have been here today, but I don't think you could have gotten in. There's so many people. You know what I need to do? Have you seen the lines around Eats?
Yes.
Nobody was ever at Eats, the restaurant. They said they were closed, which I'm assuming they closed yesterday. Lines have been around. I drove by last night, and I mean, lines around the block. So I'm assuming they went and closed. But I need to say, now, oh, okay, Will's out of town. I forgive you. Okay.
Hey, Jim, announce that it's gonna be your last service.
That's what I'm saying.
4 weeks from now, and then when the crowds come out to hear you for the last time, say, now y'all convince me.
That's my point. I think I need to say, we're closing it down.
People get nostalgic. They want to show up.
There'll be no vibration on that at all.
Danny doesn't agree. All right. Welcome to the Metron Live podcast, coming to you from the Atlanta Theater. Metron people, please welcome the podcast people. The cacophony of thousands of hands clapping is deafening. Bring down the noise. We speak in this atmosphere and we say, let there be light.
Yes.
All right. I want to talk about something today. I'm not in a series right now. One day this week I wrote a meditation, and I was thinking about the phrase, trust the process. And so I just wrote an acrostic. I haven't done one of those in a while. 15 letters, TRUST, the process. And I felt like it was worth revisiting. And so I want to, well, my title is a deep dive in what it means to trust the process. Because that phrase is something we throw around a lot. I did a painting for your daughter she bought. Oh, I did a painting your daughter bought it. Yeah. My only painting I ever did with my right hand, because it was when I had my shoulder surgery. And it's one of those things that people say a lot, but I'm not sure we're clear on exactly what it means. Does trust the process mean just put it in neutral and whatever's going to happen is going to happen? That can't be right. But there's also the truth that there's just some things that are beyond your control. So what I want to talk about is finding that sweet spot between trusting that whatever's going to happen is going to be the right thing, but also knowing that you have to. It's kind of like what Elwood was telling me about when he sent me that AI song. He said, well, AI works, but you have to know how to prompt it. You kind of have to know how to, for lack of a better term, stoke the fire. And I think that's kind of what I want to talk about with trusting the process, yes, you have to surrender. Yes, you have to detach from outcomes. But you also just can't, I mean, obviously you had to get up this morning. You had to brush your teeth. You had to get in the car. You had to, come on in. You had to do stuff.
See there?
Come on. No, we're just glad you're here. Come in. Come in, come in, come in.
I wasn't gonna say nothing. Hold my peace.
But I think there's like I said, there's like a sweet spot between those two polarities. And it's a daily balancing act. BJ and I were talking this morning about, okay, Fred. Fred and Roz are out of town for his daughter's wedding. Now my phone's going to be buzzing the whole time, everybody. We were talking about some of the stuff. I mean, when you have to set up a camper or whatever, there's a lot to it. Things that you take for granted in a house that you forget, all these systems have to be connected. And you got to really love it. I told him, I said, this may be a season for y'all. Some people do that for a while. My parents bought one and they did it, and then they were over it, and then Howie bought one, and same thing. With y'all, it might be indefinite. You never know. But at least, I said, if nothing else, it adds to your self-confidence. Thank you, Lisa. Lisa says she will always hear me. All right, thank you. I appreciate it. Now, everybody that's got my number is going to be... it adds to your confidence. So remember how last week I told you the thing about my mom's bed? Okay. I've done all these things in the house, and her bedroom was like the last frontier because there was a lot of things that needed to be done to it. What I really needed is to put new flooring in there, but I know this doesn't, you might not think this is an issue, but to have guys come in and work in her bedroom all day long, I would have to put her somewhere for a day. And there's no place, there's no option. Not only is there no place, elderly people don't want to leave their place for a whole day with their dog and everything. And there's just no way when they put the flooring in our room upstairs, because my plan was I'm going to do it up here, but it was a lot. It was a lot of noise and mess and a team of men stomping in and out, and I thought, this isn't going to work with her right here. So I decided I'm going to leave the carpet. I'll have Stanley Steamer come in and clean and deodorize it. I told you that. The guys, they came to the door and said, I'm Stanley and I'm Steamer. I said, how many times do y'all say that? And they said, 100 times a week. And so I was kind of in that place with her where she's not ready for a hospital bed, but the one that she's got now is not working. She complains that it's too tall. She complained, the bed I had for her when she was in assisted living, she said it was too tall. So for 2 years I've heard, I need a shorter bed. I mean, I've heard it at least twice, 3 times a week for 2 years. So that's been on my list of things. Get her a bed that's manageable. So I'm going to do this all at once. So I'm not above exaggeration, but I can tell you last Saturday was about the hardest I've ever worked. My parents had one of those, I don't know who makes them, but there's those king-size beds that they sit up separately, and they're as heavy as a car. Yeah. They're so heavy. Ken and I were trying to drag it out, and I said, I can't. We're going to have to call somebody. I mean, I've used every bit of strength I have. I can't budge this thing. And somehow, it was so heavy, the young men that came to haul it off were like, I don't think we can lift this. I said, yeah, you can. Because we already did it. It'll make you see Jesus, but you can do it. So we worked and we worked and we worked and we got it all fixed up, and put up new window treatments, and I threw out all the previous bedding, shopped for new bedding, new pillows, new sheets, I completely redid it. And you know how, this is why you have to detach from outcomes. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, this is going to fix it. This is going to fix. She's going to walk in here and go, oh my God, this is what I've been waiting for. Never set yourself up for, because that's not what I heard. After we worked all day, and she wasn't just being a jerk about it, but the lower bed, she just could not stand up off of it. It was actually worse for her than the higher bed. And we tried because we've got a bar on there for her to pull it. That didn't work. I brought her walker over. I said, try this, see if you can pull. Nothing. We were just watching her contort herself, trying to get up off that bed. And I'm like, holy crap, I've made this. I can't move for the pain in my back, and I've now made it worse. I mean, this is worse. So for the next 2 nights, every time she got up during the night, which is about every 2 hours, she called my room. I was like, is that my phone? Yes, please help me. So, at 2 o'clock, at 4 o'clock, at 6 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, I'm like, oh, Jesus. When I was a young man, and I can't fall back asleep between those 2 hour things. So basically, I just didn't sleep. One night is okay. When I was a young man, I could go 2-3 nights on no sleep. After your retirement age, a couple of sleepless nights, and you start hallucinating. It's like it's not. What? You relate? But isn't it true? I'm all about believing for the best for aging, but when you get older, you're going to have to sleep a little bit. So that's why whatever day it was, I went downtown and I was just like, I can't tell you how bad I felt. So I thought, I'm going to go to Whole Foods and get something healthy to eat, and I'm going to sit outside in the sun, and at least that'll help me a little bit. And as soon as I sat down, a woman walked by me with a T-shirt on that said, Speak Life. And I thought, you know what? Yes, you're right. Thank you. It's a very succinct, to the point reminder. Got it. And I did, and I wrote a meditation. So the bed that I got for her, one of the reasons I got it, it's adjustable. Like there's things you can add on the bottom that can make it taller, and it also sits up. It's got the thing because I was thinking that'll help if she can sit up, she can sort of roll out. That didn't work, but anyway. So whatever day it was this week, I didn't see Kim before he left, but he texted me and he said, was your mom able to get up off the bed? I was like, nope, I've been up all night again. And he said, when I get in tonight, we'll fix the bed and we'll put the extension things on it that will make it higher. Okay, fine. So I told her when she was ready to go to bed, I said, Mom, just wait, because he had a client after work. I said, I don't know what time he'll be here, but as soon as he gets in, he's going to help me fix the bed, and hopefully that's going to be okay. Okay, fine. So I got her dinner taken care of. I am getting to my teaching. He's like, where are we going with this? There's a point. It has to do with trusting the process. So I go get something to eat and I order him something for his dinner. I go to pay, and that terrifying thing that happens when you open your wallet and your card's not in there. And where have I been today? And the only place I can remember is I'd been to Whole Foods. And I was checking out, and suddenly I remembered when it says remove card. I thought, I didn't remove card. I was in such a fog, I just, stumbled out of there. So I called Whole Foods and I said, can you please see if somebody turned in a debit card? Which they did. We have it. It's in customer service. Thank you. Can you please hold it? Yes. What time do you close? Like in an hour and a half. I'm in Snow Mountain. They're downtown. I don't know what time he's going to get home, but I got to get that bed fixed, and I cannot go a third night with no sleep. So I'm looking at my watch. How am I going to... My point in saying this is I couldn't just trust the process. So I thought, Daddy's fixing to go fix that bed, Jesus. Back pain and all. So I walk in and Mom's like, when's Ken? I said, nope, I'm not waiting on Ken. I'm fixing your bed. So I go in there, I start tearing it apart. She's hovering. I said, I'm going to need you not to hover. Go watch Fox News. There's a lot of stuff going on today. It should be very entertaining. Do not come in till I get this done. So I'm tearing this thing up and flipping it over. Things that's really a two-man job, but I'm like, as God is my witness, I'm asleep tonight. So I get the whole thing done, find the extenders, got those 4 of those put on, got the mattress pad back on, reassembled the bed. Just as I'm pulling the comforter up and it's all, Ken and Mom walk in the bedroom together. And he says, did you do this already? I said, I had to. Here's what's going to happen. Mom, this is your bed. If this doesn't work, you're going to have to sleep in your recliner or I'm putting you in a convalescent home. Ken, your dinner's upstairs. You're going to have to nuke it. I got to go. I got to get downtown before Whole Foods closes and I'm out. I walked in between them and they both just in unison said, thank you. I said, and that was my point. I got in the car and I thought, if I have to, I can do anything. I mean, within reason. I couldn't win a Super Bowl, but it's something that's within my metron. Yeah, if I got to do it, and sometimes you don't know what you're capable of until you just have no alternative. I thought, I got to get this thing done, and I got to get it done tonight because it's about a half-hour drive, and I got there just as Whole Foods was closing. And I got to customer service and she was there. I said, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Just because I just got this one, because there was fraud on it a few weeks ago. And now, when you get a new card, you have to go through all of your apps and, update everything. And invariably there's something that you forgot to update. And then you start getting, emails that, your card was rejected. It's like a whole thing. I don't want to do it again. I got to get the Whole Foods. And I did. And on the way down, I called Howie and I said, let me tell you what I just did. And I was telling him, he said, let me tell you, he said, I know you better than anybody. He said, I know where all the bodies are buried. I know your downside, everything. He said, but you're a saint. He said, you have achieved sainthood. He said, I'm putting in your name. I'm going to nominate you to the Pope for sainthood. I said, works for me. I feel like a saint right now. And my point is, it made me just feel really empowered. And so, yes, you have to trust the process, but you have to help the process. And that's what I want to talk about today, okay? So, we're TRUST, THEPROCESS. Oh, Bishop, that's 15 points. It's going to go fast. Relax. All right, here's T. Take responsibility for your own actions so that you never allow yourself to feel victimized by anything outside of yourself. And I added to that Proverbs, this is 18:9. I've used this before, but this Amplified Classic, the way it's translated is amazing to me. It says, he who is loose and slack in his work is brother to him who is a destroyer. And he who does not use his endeavors to heal himself is brother to him who commits suicide. I mean, it's like saying if you don't intend to live, you start dying.
Yes.
I don't think they'll mind me saying this because they've both posted about this, but y'all know Kevin and Elisa who are here sometimes. She's just been diagnosed with the C word. And so I met them this week because he commissioned a painting. And I met them for lunch because she just had the port put in. She's about to start chemo. We had a really good conversation, and she's in a really good place in her head and all the right things, and saying all the right things. And she said something about people who are judgmental about chemo. I said, it's interesting you said that because I was just thinking this the other day because I used to be very opinionated about it. I used to say, if I ever got diagnosed with cancer, I don't even think I would do chemotherapy. I said, I think that's really arrogant of me because I've never been in that place. I don't know what I would do. Right. I mean, if I heard a doctor say that to me, I'd be like, I might be saying, hook me up now. I don't know. And I said, now aside from, of course, believing for the best in God and all that, just the medical profession is so much better. There was a time, if you heard that, you're like, oh, you start telling somebody goodbye. Now, Ken's brother's gone through it. Their tumors are all gone. And I said, it's really interesting. My point is, whatever is in the power of your hand to live, to survive, to thrive, you've got to do. It's like having done all to stand.
Right.
So you can't trust the process if you don't trust your own ability to make some stuff happen. The Bible doesn't say God helps those who help themselves, but it might as well, because that is true. Okay? The R is relinquish the responsibility of trying to control everything. Steve Maraboli, motivational speaker, says this: incredible change happens in your life when you decide to take control of what you do have power over instead of craving control over what you don't. And this is my point, even BJ, with what you and I were talking about today, what I just went through, not just this thing with the bedroom, but the whole, this morning we fixed up a little, it's a room where Dad's office used to be, and we put a mini fridge and a coffee maker. I may even get a microwave just to have our own little place, because going all the way downstairs in the middle of the night, it's a thing. So this morning I went in there and made coffee, and I'm just looking around, just in the months that I've been there, like we did that, we did that, we did that, we did that, we did that. Like everywhere I look, I think of things that we've done. The termite guy came out this week. He checked everything. He made a couple of recommendations. There's something, there's a tree in the front yard that needs to be taken out. I went to get the mail yesterday when I got back from Blue Ridge, and somebody had taped a card to my mailbox at the tree service, and I thought, you know what? This may be my guy, because this might be synchronicity telling. But I'm looking around at everything, and my bless his heart, my dad had a way of just making you feel like you, not incompetent, but whatever you're doing just wasn't quite right. And I'm looking at all the stuff that I fixed in this house, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not offended at you. You were just wrong. I can do, if I don't know how to do something, by God, I can figure it out. There's a couple things now. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do it, but I think, when I have to, I think about, I went in there and flipped that bed this week, got it. And, I forgot, the happy ending is she hasn't called me again. It worked. I forgot to tell you, that was the good part. Yeah, we finally found Goldilocks's, we found the baby bears. This one's just right. And it took a hot minute. Because you think, well, just a few inches doesn't make that much. Yeah, it does. Because when it was too low, she just could not navigate it. And just bringing it up just enough, not as tall as it was, but just that I've somehow found that sweet spot. So yeah, I forgot there was a happy ending to the story. I don't want to leave you with anxiety. It did, her exact words were, that bed is a dream. I said, let me get that. Can I get a recording of you saying that? And the thing is, she's not, honestly, I paint it to make it sound like she's being a tyrant. She's not. She's just old and dependent, and, y'all been there before. And I want to be there, but also be there for her, but also keep her independence as much as I can. Do you understand? Because when I came in last night with her dinner, she said, I got to ask you something now, because I only see you 5 minutes a day. And I'm like, where are we going with this? Because that kind of sounds like a complaint. Because, she wants my dad back, is what it is. And I'm like, I'm not him. He's in heaven. If you want to sit with him, as the angel said of Jesus, he is not here, for he is risen. So anyway, that's all that is fine. But you also have to know what you don't have control over. And you just have to, that's the lane where you have to trust the process. I've done everything I know to do. And for the rest of it, I'm going to have to, as we used to say, I've done my natural so that God can add His supernatural, His super to my natural. Because the way, whether you call it God or Spirit or the universe or higher power, the way it works, it's like it doesn't, that power doesn't take compassion on you as much as it is impressed by your willingness to do it yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like if you're saying, why doesn't God do something for me? That never works. It's just counterproductive. You just have to get started doing what you can, and whatever God is notices that and takes its cue from you. But now the trick is not being a control freak with that. Because you know what you can't control? Everybody else.
Yes.
So you have to say, here's what I'm in control over, and I'm gonna do it to my best ability. And then the rest of it, I'm gonna have to let it go and just believe for the best. All right. The you in trust is understand that you don't have to understand everything that's happening right now. The quote was by Einstein, you don't have to understand the world, you just have to find your own way around in it. I could have used the MLK quote where he says you just have to take the next step, you don't have to see the whole staircase. Both things are, would have made that point. There's just going to be a mystery to some things. They just, and I'm not even saying you can't figure it out, but you can't figure it out all at once. I don't know how many, if you watch mystery movies, but if it's a murder mystery or whatever, a really well written one will throw you a curve. Like in the end, you're like, that's the guy that did, because it's so easy to think, oh, the butler did it. The butler always did it. Maybe not. And I love those. I watched something, I don't remember what it was. I watched something recently that was one of those things. And the person who ended up being the villain, I thought, man, I did not see that one coming at all. And that's what keeps you riveted. You have to want to see, you have to embrace the mystery. And embracing it means some of it doesn't make sense. If you had it all figured out, your journey's over. It is the glory of God to conceal a matter. It's the glory of kings to, what is it? It is the glory of kings to conceal a matter. It's the glory of God to reveal it. Is that right? The other way around. I did a teaching years ago about the sword and the stone, and I said, think about the mythology around King Arthur, and I said, if you think about the stone being the mystery part, and there's a part of the part of the blade that's exposed is like the Logos word, and the part that's buried in the stone is the Rhema word, and you've got to spend your energy. You receive royalty when you bring out that part that doesn't make sense yet. And somebody when it was so taken with my teaching, they made me a sword and stone for my office, which is okay, but it kind of started falling apart, and it was like lots of debris everywhere. But anyway, thought that counts. The S in trust is see the big picture at all times. And Toba Rada says this. I love this quote. This may be my favorite thing in what I'm saying today. Nothing is coincidence in strategical perception. It's another way of saying the more you see miracles, the more you see miracles. Or the more you notice synchronicity, the more you'll notice synchronicity. Some people don't see it. Like yesterday, this may be a small thing, but yesterday when I'm driving up to Blue Ridge, I stopped at a racetrack up there, and I got some snacks for the road. And they've got self-checkout now, and I bought 3 items, and I put them on there, and it came out exactly to $11.11. Last weekend, Ken and I went to see a movie. There was something that was out I wanted to see. Last Saturday. No, Saturday we were working. It must have been Sunday. We got snacks. They came out exactly to $11. It's twice in 1 week that I bought something that came out to $11. It's happened at Starbucks a couple times. And you can't, there's no way to calculate that. I don't know what the tax is on something. And just that little thing, when I took a picture of it and posted it, when I saw 11:11 come out, I thought, oh, we're going to have a great weekend. This is going to be a great weekend. Now, some people would say, really? That's your sign? Like, heck yeah, that's my sign. Yeah. And if you don't want to see stuff like that, fine. You don't have to see it. I love that kind of stuff. Just that little dopamine hit of something that small, just like, oh, this is going to be great. And I love the place that I found. I think it's going to be beautiful. And I thought, this could easily be the best one we've ever had. And that little, I would have been fine if it had been $11.10, but it was $11.11. And so if you're looking, like, I don't buy into the everything happens for a reason thing. I don't like that, because I think that makes you, I don't like that. There's some things, it implies that there's a higher power that's doing nasty stuff to people. I don't like that. That being said, I love synchronicity. And once you've made an intention about moving forward, what's the famous quote? Once you make a decision, the entire universe conspires to make it happen. And there's a real truth to that. It's not just randomly. Good things aren't just randomly happening to you. They're responding to the decision you've made. Okay? Go ahead. The Trust, is talk up the good things that are happening. Philippians 4:8 in the Message, it says, summing it all up, friends, I'd say you'll do best by filling your minds and meditating on true, noble, reputable, authentic, compelling, gracious, the best, not the worst, the beautiful, not the ugly, things to praise, not things to curse. In my conversation with Kevin and Elisa this week, she was telling me she's had a complicated relationship with her mother. And she was telling me a couple of things that's happened in the last few days that was wonderfully out of character for her. She said it just really meant a lot to me that she did this or said this or whatever. And I said, especially where you are right now, you got to hold on to every little positive thing like that. I said, I think of it like walking down the beach with a basket and picking up seashells. It's like every little fortuitous thing that you can find, every little dopamine hit in your brain, every little bit of synchronicity. Collect it and hold on to it. The other day I was just making a list just to remind myself of little things that are sort of microdose of endorphins, like things that are positive. Like when I put my debit card in and it says the word accepted, that I just get a good feeling when I see that. Not that I've been rejected that much, but there's just something about that, like, yeah, that's positive. You know what else I like? My car has one of those things where it's got a charger built into the dashboard. So you just lay your phone on it, but it takes a minute to find where the sweet spot. It's like I'm constantly moving it around trying to get it to connect. And when it finally does, there's a picture of a battery with a little lightning bolt in it. I love when that lightning, there's something deeply satisfying when the little lightning bolt comes in. Bishop, what's this got to do with trusting the process? Look, when you're dealing with hard stuff, you got to collect all those little things and hold on to them, because you know what? Lots of little positive things add up to really good stuff. When my mom said, "That bed's a dream," I replayed it in my head 100 times that day, because it was just so nice to hear that the hard work paid off, and it was, finally. Because it didn't feel that way a few days earlier. I just felt like, why didn't I just leave it alone? It was better, at least the way it was before. I wasn't having to get up every 2 hours, but we got to a better place. It was like it was a second but. You know what I mean? When I taught that the other day, there's this, but that happened, but then that happened. Somebody else tell me, what's a little thing that's pleasurable to you? That's just, it's not really a miracle, it's just a little thing that you like when it happens. Anybody? Anybody got something that gives you just a little bit of a dopamine hit? Like, for instance, there's a way I feel when I've just had my car washed and the tank is full. There's just that feeling when you drive out and it just feels good. It feels right. I love that feeling. What?
Just, you never make my bed in the morning and look back around when I close the door. The bed is made. It's just a
Yeah.
small thing, but, it's made.
I totally get that. Like this morning, when I made it at the bed, I was fussing with it. I thought, nobody's even going to see this today. Why am I? Because I like as I'm walking out the room, I like to look at it and go, oh, I like the way that looks. That worked out good. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to see it. I'm going to walk in later today and go, that looks really good the way you did that. Somebody else? What?
Enough milk for my coffee, especially when I know it's low. Avoiding an accident, thank you, Jesus. You're not paying attention and you have to do that immediate break.
Absolutely. When you avoid something, it's kind of like it slaps you out of a depression or something. Like, whoa, I just nearly died. And it heightens your senses or something. Yes, absolutely. Somebody else? Oh, you know what else I love is, because I'm not a big grocery shopper. I don't buy in bulk, but sometimes I will have bought something, I forgot that I bought it, and I'm so glad that I did. Like, I open a cabinet and I'm like, oh, I forgot I got that last week. It's like a wonderful little surprise, because I rarely have, like, if whatever I buy, I eat. So sometimes I'm not going to buy that because I'll just go home immediately and eat it. And then sometimes you're like, no, I did buy that. That's good. Somebody else? What's something that gives you just a little bit of pleasure, Carl?
Pulling up to the Kroger gas pump and seeing my reward says, hey, you get 20 cents off, you use it an hour later.
That's always a cool thing. It's not like it'll be a make or break financially. It's just like when I go to Starbucks and they say, you got enough stars to come. I'm like, I love when they say I have enough stars. Because I had enough money, but I was like, I started something about this coffee is even better. Because I didn't pay for it. The stars brought it to me. This coffee came from the stars. Somebody else? Ernie.
Sometimes, I didn't want to confess this, but the thing about 11/11, I always had a problem with what's the big deal. Friday, I came into the kitchen, and I just happened to look at the stove. It's got a clock, and it said 11/11. And I said, wow, what made me look at that particular time? And then when I saw your post on Facebook, and it had your receipt saying 11/11, I said, now I kind of believe I'm kind of getting it now. Now I'm beginning to see 11/11.
As I have said, thank you for saying that. As I've said before, when you Google it, there's hundreds of articles about 1111 means so-and-so. And I think, why? Nobody's saying why. Like, nobody tells you why they think cardinals are departed loved one. Like, I can't find any where that came from. But I also feel when I see a cardinal in my front yard, something in me says, thank you, Dad, we got it covered. But yes, is it miraculous? I don't know, but it's fortuitous. Like several times in a week it'll happen just the minute I look at it. And of course, I'm looking at my phone constantly. So it's in the realm of possibility it could happen. But yeah, sometimes it's the timing of it.
You
And
know, Jim, I think why it speaks to you, 1111, is I think you know deep down you're creating that. You're creating 1111. And to the bigger point of that, if you can create that, what else can you create? It's all connected. And it's
dude,
you know you're creating that. And in that realm, if you can do that, you can heal the sick. What else can you do? You know, you can speak
Wow.
to mountains. So
That's
why
deep.
It speaks to me in ways like it. And even now when I see 1111, and I'm like, yeah, there's something, there's a connectivity to it. But my moment that speaks to me,
thank you for that, by the way.
some people know I have an outside closet tub and I love to take outside baths, especially on rainy days like this. And Boom Boom, whenever I'm in that bathtub, he changes. He sits and he will not move if I stay in there for an hour. He flexes his chest out and he continues.
Like he's guarding you?
Guard.
That's so
He
interesting.
will bite you if you try to come around me while I'm in that tub. He goes on guard. To me, it's the most incredibly adoring little thing. I just want to feed him doggy donuts.
That's so interesting.
And that's something in life. That's just we have
Sure.
moments in life,
Yeah.
you know, that we're all experiencing. That it's just a moment that speaks to me about how precious is he. He thinks I need protection.
That's so cool. Christina has the hardest time keeping her dog's name is Boy. When Clementine was in the crib, he just demanded to sleep by the crib because that breed they're trained to protect small things, and she just had to finally just let him sleep in there because he wouldn't take no for an answer. But yes, I get that. Totally cool. Somebody else?
Another one for me is 44. It's one of my favorite numbers. I see it all the time. You know, driving down the highway, sitting on the tag, and it's just like it just explodes on the inside of me when I see number 44.
And different numbers speak to different people for different reasons. And if it speaks to you, then it's valid.
I had that washer and dryer I told you about.
Yeah.
I had to drag back to my house. Well, I sold it to somebody, and it was cool because the person that I sold it to, she's like, oh, I saw your post. She goes, mine just went out today. She's like, so it's like, I was like, oh, that's,
Yeah.
because once somebody saw it, then I got like this flood of people asking about it, and then but the one that I decided on was like, you seem sane and won't kill me, so so I'll have you come to my house to pick this up. And she's like, yeah. She goes, oh, thank you. She said, mine just died. It just died today. So.
I love the timing of things like that. Sonia?
Mine, Reggie picking me all the time about this, is, and don't pick at me about this, y'all, it's a sale.
It's what?
A sale.
Oh, a sale?
Discount.
Okay.
Because
We get that.
when I go somewhere, Reggie said, you be talking to these people out there money. No, I don't. I just think a suggestive retail price is a suggestion.
You laugh, but it's true.
Does it work? Does it work? Do people bring the price down?
All the time.
You have not because you asked not.
I think a suggestive retail price is a suggestion.
What's it gonna hurt?
And worse than it says no.
Who knows how much money she saved you over the years with her negotiation skills?
And when I go to them, with a,
Officer, I've never seen this woman before in my life.
I look at them with a straight face and I ask for a when I bought a TV console for the living room, for the family room, and I walked up, the guy followed me all through the store. When you go to the store, and I told him, I said, what I'm looking for and whatnot, and I found a TV console and I went over there and I looked at it. I had walked the whole store floor and I said, I want that. And he was like, okay. I said, but I want a discount off of it. It was already marked down. I said, I want a discount off of it. I said, I see a mark right here on the bottom of it. And then I walked away. He said, well, let me go talk to him. He said, we're going to take $100 off of it. I said, okay.
Come on, Jesus. No, I get it. And it's not, I mean, you have the money. It's not, you're not doing it out of necessity. I completely get it. If that's what's important to you, I totally get that.
I just think that
Sure.
that things that they sell us is marked up at a ridiculous amount of price, and I think that my $2 is my $2, and I don't think I should be giving it to you just because you overmarked it. And I think that that when I'm buying something, that we need to all prices are negotiable. We need to negotiate, and I'm trying to get mine, you're trying to get yours, and I'm gonna work hard for mine.
It's funny I hadn't thought of this in a long time, but because I don't usually do that, but I remember when I was a teenager and I first started buying my own clothes, I'd go like to North Lake Mall over here, and they had those stores like Chess King and J Riggings. I love the baggy pants and platform shoes, but I had a job, but I only had so much money, and I can't tell you how many times I would go in somewhere and I'd be looking at something and somebody would say, they come up, can I help you? And I said, yeah, I love these pants. And I tried them on already. And he said, well, you want to get them? I said, I only have $5. And I can't tell you how many times they would sell them to me for $5. Now, I don't know if they would do that now, but I was just, because I really only had $5. Because I was saying, I'll come back later, but I really would like to get them now. And I did that a lot. Once I saw it worked, I did it with a pair of shoes one time, and
My children, when they were shopping, when they were young and shopping with me, when we were spending the money, they had grandiose ideas of what they could spend my money.
what is it? Who's the comedian that said, he told his kids, he said, no, I'm rich. Y'all aren't rich. We're not rich. I'm rich.
So what I was going to say, okay, this is how much money I have to spend. I used to always, expectations was always given. This is what I got to spend. Anything over this is all on you. Now, when they start shopping, Walmart was fine. But, it's not like that. I was like, no, we're going here because they got a sale. You can get 2 for $90.
Right.
But when they start shopping for themselves, then they start understanding why mama would do this and do this.
It's cool.
And go here.
Somebody else, what gives you a dopamine hit of pleasure? Ro?
When my son Dominique does something like cleans this crazy part of my house or does something. He's done it several times in the last few years. Like I was in Florida, I come back, my house was like spotless and it smelled good and it felt clean.
It's the best.
Oh my God. And so, not last night, the night before, and I don't sleep either, but at 3 o'clock I hear scrubbing. And I'm like, is he scrubbing that kitchen floor? Because the grout got pretty funky.
Yeah.
Sure enough, I come down the next morning. I was going to go down to see, but I was not really sleeping, so I tried to sleep. Come down the next morning, that grout was all clean. The tile looked beautiful. And I was like,
That's like Christmas morning. Are you kidding? Heck yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, everybody does chores and we try to keep the house, but that was a job.
Sure.
That was a real job. And I just so appreciated it. I was like, thank you.
Absolutely. That's awesome. When, I'm sure I told you this, but when Judah was on Preachers of Atlanta. They wanted to do an episode where he came to my loft to ask me for advice for something, which I agreed to do. Well, the way a reality show works, you're basically playing yourself. Like they don't give you a script, but they set up a scenario. And before, they had wanted me to gather my kids together and tell them I was concerned about their soul because they weren't in church. I said, I'm not going to say, I'm a public figure. People know I would never say that. And they thought I was being difficult. And I said, no, I'm not concerned about their souls. I'm not going to do that. So this was the follow-up. Like, well, what if he came to your house and asked? I said, that I can do. That seems within the realm of possibility. I didn't know they were coming the next day. So he called me and said, there's a crew from NBC Universal that's going to be at your house. I said, oh, tomorrow? So Ken got home and said, we have got to clean up this place. So he started, and where he started was on the top of the refrigerator. And I was like, we don't have time for the top of the refrigerator. But he did it. And you know what? There was probably 30 people in my loft because it was a whole crew of people. The first place they set up lights was on top of the refrigerator. And I was like, thank you for following your instincts. Thank you. And I'm sure that they wouldn't care if it had been nasty up there. It's just, that's just not a place I think of cleaning. Like that. Nobody's looking up there. Let's clean where everybody's going to be looking. Well, who knew they were going to look up there? Anyway, yes. But see, doesn't that feel good to talk about those little things? They're not miracles, but they're seashells on the beach, and you just fill up your basket with them, and together they make a really beautiful mosaic. Anybody else got one?
Finding one of your parents, probably that you forgot.
What?
Finding one of your parents, probably that you forgot.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Hey, Jim, he mentioned that. I went up into my attic one time, getting my coats down, because I have a coat fetish. And I've got so many jackets, it's embarrassing. But I said, oh, I like this one. Probably been up there for a couple of years. Put it on, reached in my pocket, had 6 $100 bills.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm going up in your. First, I want Dominique to come to my house, and I want to go up in your attic.
Listen to this. I go down and tell Abe, I'm like, what kind of life do I lead? $600 in a coat pocket and just forget about it. Don't remember that it exists.
Even on a smaller thing, yes, that's awesome. Sometimes somebody will send me something on Cash App or Venmo, and usually I'll immediately transfer it to the bank, but sometimes I forget. And a couple of days later, I'll look, and I think, why have I got money in there? Oh, I forgot to put that, even just that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I forgot, there's $50 in there. I forgot I got $50. That's why when somebody says, I just have $20, I wish I could give you more. I'm like, it's $20. Heck yeah. Like that. Ain't nothing. I've never had anybody give me money that I thought, really? That's it? One day, I got to tell you one more story. One day last week, somebody who's starting a church up in Beaufort called me. She said, I want to, can I meet with you? And I said, okay, that's fine. So we were going to meet at Merrimack. So I drive down to Merrimack, and, with unhoused people around, they're constantly coming up to you asking for money. My magic word is, I'm hungry. Somebody says, I'm hungry. I'm like, all right, you said the magic word. So I'm walking at this guy. I've never had somebody so aggressive. He's like, man, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. And I was like, okay. He said, come on, big brother, in the name of Jesus. I said, all right. As I'm going in to meet somebody, I'll go get you something. And thank you. Thank you, Dale. Speaking of Cash App, it's coming in. So I go in, and the person texts me and says, I'm so sorry, but I'm not going to be able to make it. And they said, can I just send you, Venmo you some money? I said, no, it's fine. I'm just going to come downtown anyway. No, for your time. So she Venmoed me some money. That was great. So I got him like fried chicken and turnip greens and mac and cheese and cornbread. I mean, I got him, So I go out. He's sitting on the sidewalk doing something to his foot. I don't know. So I hand him, he says, what's that? And I said, you said you were hungry. He said, I don't want food from in there. I asked you for money. I said, are you serious? You said, I'm hungry. He said, I don't want that food. And another guy walked up and said, I'll take it. All right. And it was like he just won the lottery. And I thought, well, you're going to love that when you open there's a turnip greens and fried chicken. I mean, I'll go home and eat it. But it was just so odd. I thought maybe I need to stop thinking it's the I'm hungry statement, because that wasn't the one that worked for him. And it worked out, it was fine, and I have no idea what's got to do with the story, but it gave me, I just told it to you anyway. All right, here's the T in is trust your instincts, and the quote, Brittany Burgunder is, don't second guess yourself. You know the right answer and what's best for you. Life is so much easier when you realize this. I'm not saying to be unteachable, but this has happened to me so many times where somebody talked me out of doing something that I knew was the right thing for me. And later I just thought, I should have. I know they meant well, but they didn't really know where I was at. And you learn to just say, thank you for your input, but this is what I'm going to do. And because the thing is, if you keep it in neutral all the time, people will they'll fill in the blanks for you. Like if you don't say what you want, what you know is right for you, everybody is so full of unsolicited advice. People who have no idea what the heck they're talking about. And anyway, I've made the point. You just trust yourself. The H is have confidence in your ability to figure it out when you need to, which is what we was talking about. Charlotte Freeman says this, you'll eventually figure it all out and everything will make perfect sense. Every experience will get you to where you are supposed to be. I completely believe that. That doesn't mean there aren't experiences that just are so awful and painful, but sometimes they really do help you get to the next thing. It's not that you wanted to get there that way, but if that thing hadn't happened, then this thing wouldn't have happened. And I've talked about that a lot. Oh, she goes on to say, every loss, every heartbreak, and every mistake, don't be afraid to mess up, and don't expect success overnight. Get lost. Get so damn lost and find yourself over and over again. Believe in yourself. Forget about what other people think and trust your journey. I just love that. I love the way she phrased that, even with the expletive, because what she's saying is you're going to mess up, and until you mess up, you will not know what your voice is. It takes a few times if you say, I should have done what I knew was right, until you finally, you just get like, no, I know let your yes be yes and your no be no. I'm not going to do that. Thank you very much. Your point is taken. I hear what you've said, and now this is what I'm going to do. And you know what? People will leave you alone when they see that you know what you're going to do. The E in the of trust is expect the best to happen no matter what it currently looks like. And I love the way Romans 4:18 is translated in the Amplified Classic. It says, for Abraham, human reason for hope being gone, hoped in faith that he should become the father of many nations, as he had been promised. So numberless shall your descendants be. I love that phrase, human reason for hope being gone, he hoped on. Baby, you got to have hope. You have to have hope. Regardless of what's happening in the country, regardless of what's happening in politics, regardless of what's happening in your physical body, regardless of whatever situation you're in, you have to expect the best. You just have to. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. Faith gives substance to what you hope for. You have to be hopeful. Without hope, there's nothing for faith to attach to. And then we're to the word process. Pace yourself to live in the moment. Rainer Maria Rilke says, let everything happen to you, beauty and terror, just keep going, no feeling is final. I can't tell you how important this is. when you're on a journey to a better version of yourself, it's not like a plane taking off. Do you know what I mean? It's not like that. It's like that. But you'll still get to where you need to be. But on days where you think, I thought I was making all this progress, and I'm like, I'm worse than I was before all this started. It's part of the journey. Don't overreact to it. Let yourself feel what you're going to feel. That's why I love that he says beauty and terror. Because we all got something that we're terrified of. I won't elaborate, but we've all got some situation that we think, yeah, but if that happened, then what about that? Well, it's part of the thing. Nobody said David wasn't afraid of Goliath. The scripture just says he ran toward him. And you just have to keep running towards your fear. And anytime you think it's going to be like flipping on a switch, like, I have finally gotten a grip on it, you're going to surprise yourself. Because you're going to have a day coming up where you're like, no, nothing I believed was true. Yeah, it's your first but. You got to wait for the second one. Maybe I shouldn't confess this, but this doesn't happen on every painting that I do, but it happens a lot. I'll get started on something, and then I hit a point in it where I'm like, this is crap. And then when I give into that, I'm like, nobody wants to see your stupid painting. I mean, you can't believe the negative stuff that starts coming in. Sometimes Ken will say, did you finish your painting? I'm like, no, I didn't finish it, and I suck, and I'm never painting again. I'm going to go down to Blick, and I'm going to destroy all the canvases so that I don't ever buy one of these. Who thought, like, the only reason anybody ever bought one from me is out of pity, because they think, Bishop, you spiral like that? Yeah. Especially if I've been at it for hours. And then I just get away from it for a few hours, and then I come back to it. Even though, I did that one of fall leaves the other day, and it's leaning up beside my bed. And this morning I was looking at it, I thought, that may be the best thing I've ever painted. That's actually amazing. That should like be in a gallery. But about midway through it, I'm not only going to destroy it, I'm going to call everybody who's ever bought a painting of mine and say, take it down off your wall right now and burn it. But I get through it, and I'm like, what was I thinking? So I've learned enough now to know you're just being temperamental. You'll get through it, and you're going to love it. And then I do. And now I want them all back, whatever you want. All my paintings back so that I can look at them because they're amazing. The R is remain flexible and receptive to new ideas and unexpected opportunities. Dr. Dyer said this, if you believe it will work out, you'll see opportunities. If you believe it won't, you'll see obstacles. Truer words have never been spoken. The O is open your heart without fear of failure or rejection. I love this poetic way that this Yolanda Faye says this. She says, healing and a reunification with our unblemished soul occur by the hand of grace. There is nothing to integrate nor to understand. Wholeness was gifted to us at birth and is never truly taken away. The power of the present prayerful moment within the stillness of your open heart will know when it is time. Open the heart and the soul to the energy of miracles. That quote captures everything that I want to say in this teaching. That's what trust the process means. The process is not easy. The journey is not always easy. Yes, you have to pace yourself. Yeah, all those things I've said are true. But you also have to open your heart. Jesus said, unless you become like a child, you can't enter the kingdom. You honestly just have to believe that anything is possible. I know that doesn't sound that profound, But you can't stop believing that. The C in process is create a mindset and lifestyle that allows for best case scenario to happen. Richard Wilkins says, miracles start to happen when you give as much energy to your dreams as you do to your fears. That's why when people say, I'm overthinking it, well then overthink it in a positive way. Think about all the ways it could go right. Calling those things which are not as though they are happen in the positive and the negative. The E in process is evolve with the world around you by accepting change. Anton St. Martin says this, blessed are the flexible, for change is inevitable. To fulfill our true destiny as spiritual beings, we must trust in our divine power to adapt. Flexibility becomes a little more challenging as you age, and so you have to be intentionally flexible because there's a way you might have done something forever that might not be the best way. You know what I do sometimes periodically? I will put on GPS when I'm going somewhere that I've driven my whole life.
Right.
Because sometimes it'll offer alternative that I've never thought of, because for years, like, no, this is how you get here and you drive here and you turn there, that's how you get there. And more times than I can count, GPS, I may be someplace I've been driving since I was 16, and GPS will say, go this way. And I think, I've never thought about going that way, but that actually does make more sense. It seems like it is going to take longer, but it really doesn't. So you have to, those neuropaths in your brain, those paths that those trenches you've been digging for years, they're deep. And sometimes you got to open up some new ones and think, well, maybe there's another way to think about this, okay? The first S in process is stay present, knowing that all you really have is now. And Emily Dickinson said, it's a very succinct, I just love it. Forever is composed of nows. When I left lunch with the Broadheads whatever day it was just a really nice day. We sat outside. We had really good conversation. She loved the painting because my paintings are awesome. And before we left, I said, I'm not going to pray, but what I want to do, I just want to, let's take a mental snapshot of this moment. We're sitting out here, and it's just nice. I asked her, I said, are you okay to be sitting in the sun? She said, no, it actually feels really good. And I said, good, it's probably good for you. And I said, let's just observe a moment of silence and just take it in. And that to me is what being present is. When Jesus says, this is my body, he was talking about that experience, like being here with you guys, this thing that's happening right now. This is my body. And when you have little moments like that, we've had hundreds of them on these meditation weekends where I'm just, and which is why, do I really need pictures taken every Sunday? Especially now that I don't have music I could make an argument to say, how many different things can you make it look? But there's just something about capturing moments photographically. There's something really spiritual about it. That every time you go back and look at that little moment that was captured in time, that picture becomes really valuable. And there's not opportunity for it every week, but you never know when it could happen. When there'll just be that one thing that you capture. And it's, this guy, some of you follow him, this Kyle Morgan that does the photography down mostly on Jekyll, but some on St. Simon. And we've met him before, and his stuff is just beautiful. And I've noticed lately he's been getting into things with people, like taking him to task about, I think you used AI on that, or I think, why are people, why can't you just look at it and say, God, what a beautiful like, why does everybody have to be so cynical? So what if he did? I mean, it's not like he's trying to pull something over on you. It's like somebody says, you put a filter on that. Like, yeah, that's what the apps are for. That's when I posted a picture after I'd been up for 2 nights, and I posted it. My friend, known since elementary school, Robin says, "You don't look sleep deprived." I said, "You should have seen it before I fixed it a little bit." And then I put a picture of the Phantom of the Opera on there. He's real dark under his eyes. This is what I looked like before. But it's like when somebody says, oh, "You're wearing makeup." Like, yeah, it's for. I'm saying like, if you fix something, you know, you have shoulder pads in your jacket. Like, no, really. Excuse me. I'm saying. I rolled out of bed looking at it. What was it Carol Burnett used to say? She says, every morning when I get up, I have to darken my roots and bind my bosom and cut my eyelashes because they grew so long during the night. It was funnier when she said it. All right. Is this the last S?
Yes.
Say out loud what you want to happen while at the same time detaching from outcomes. It sounds like a contradiction in terms, but the process unfolds in the space between those two concepts. I just know that's true. You have to be intentional. Trusting the process doesn't mean la la la, que sera sera, whatever's. You're setting yourself up for disaster if you do that. You could not fill your car up with gas when it's low and say, I'm just going to trust the process. You know what? You're going to be out on 285 on the side of the road without gas. You can't.
Without gas and a turbo.
Exactly. So the process is a bigger concept. I've already said it. And this, I love the way, I've never used the Berean Bible before, but this is Daniel 3:17 and 18, the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But I like the way this is interpreted. It says, if the God whom we serve exists, then he is able to deliver us from the blazing fiery furnace and from your hand, O king. But even if he does not, and that could mean even if it does not exist, or even if he does not help us, let it be known to you, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden statue you have set up. I love this because that sounds very human to me. Because we've all been in a moment of crisis where you're like, there is a God, right? There's a God. Am I wasting my time praying? If there's a higher power, like something out there's hearing me, right? And they're like, we guess if there is a God, but one way or the other, we're not bowing to you. So make the furnace as hot as you want. It's a non-issue because we're not responding to the heat of the furnace. We're responding to our own choice to believe a certain thing. And that's where you have to find that balance between being rigid and resolute. Rigidity can be dangerous, but you have to stand for something. You have to believe in something. You have to have some principle. You have to have some moral center. You have to have some line that can't be crossed. What's the old statement? If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And there's a truth to that. Now, you can't be so principled that you can't live in the real world. But you also have to say, there's some things. I'm thinking of the Hall & Oates song, I can't go for that. No can do. There's like a point where you're like, that's a bridge too far. That's not, and the universe responds to that. So there you have it. TRUSTTHEPROCESS. Trust the process. Let's all stand. Did you get anything out of this today?
Yes.
No? Only Reggie got something out of it? Oh, I was going to try. Okay. We'll do a standing meditation since you're already standing. Let's let's just bring the lights down for a minute. We won't do an outro, Michelle. We should do an outro. Play me a little music, and let's just soak in this moment. On this Sunday in October of 2025, let it be known that this group of people stood in this configuration, and we were all here together. Breathe it in. Take a deep breath in and hold it. And then let it out. Now think about one thing you're grateful for today. And hold on to that one thing. Let yourself relax. Breathe. Be open. Soak in this moment. And as we stand in meditative consciousness, we speak to next weekend. And as we enter this 27th one, we believe that things will begin to fall into place, things will begin to come into divine order. We sanctify this meditation weekend that's coming up. We hallow it. We honor it. Whatever we need to do, those of us who are going, whatever we need to do to get things in order for us to go out of town will fall into place easily. That there will be a flow. That it is well. Let's do 3 good breaths. In, hold it, out. In, nose, hold, out, mouth. One more good one. In, and out. Everybody say, I trust the process. I trust God. I trust the universe, the energy around me. I trust that good things are happening, and I am in the flow with them. I am in the flow. I am flow. I am. Peace. I'll see you next weekend.
I'm gonna be here, yay.
Huh?
I'm gonna be
Good.
here.